I never imagined that the woman I loved more than life itself would be the one to rip my entire world apart in the most brutal way possible. Picture this exact moment with me right now. It was a Tuesday afternoon, the kind of sunny day that should have felt perfect. I had left work early because something in my gut wouldn't let me ignore the growing distance between us anymore. I picked up Taylor's favorite Thai takeout from that little place on Maple Street and a huge bouquet of fresh red roses, the exact kind she always said made her feel truly loved and desired. I drove straight to her office building, that sleek glass tower downtown, where she had been climbing the corporate ladder as a senior marketing executive. The receptionist, a young woman named Lisa, looked straight at me with this nervous flicker in her eyes when I asked for my wife. Jordan. Taylor left about an hour ago. With Mr. Kamron. They said it was an important client meeting off-site. My stomach twisted into a knot so tight I could barely breathe. Mr. Kamron Harrington, her powerful, charming boss who had been consuming more and more of her time for the last year. His name alone sent a cold shiver down my spine, but I pushed it down. Not yet. Something deep inside me refused to go home. My car seemed to drive itself straight to the Grand Plaza Hotel, that luxurious 5-star place downtown that Taylor had casually mentioned a few times in passing as just a venue for work events. Room 412. I still had the spare key card I had found tucked in her purse weeks earlier, the one she claimed was for team retreats. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it as I slid the card into the slot. The little light turned green with a soft beep that sounded like a death knell. I pushed the heavy wooden door open slowly. I opened the door, and everything I feared was right there. They froze. And in that moment, my marriage was over. Taylor's head snapped toward me so fast I thought she might break her neck. The look of pleasure on her face melted instantly into absolute horror and panic. She scrambled for the sheets, trying desperately to cover herself. Jordan? Oh my God, Jordan. What the hell are you doing here? How did you? Her voice cracked and broke, tears already spilling down her cheeks. Kamron, that arrogant bastard in his tailored suit jacket still half on, didn't even look bothered at first. He just sat up slowly on the massive king bed, a smug smirk spreading across his face as he ran a hand through his perfectly styled hair. Well, well. The clueless husband finally decides to show up. Get lost, Jordan. Can't you see she's busy enjoying what you could never give her? The takeout bag and the roses slipped from my numb fingers. The food spilled across the thick carpet. The flowers scattered like drops of blood on a crime scene. My knees felt weak. 8 years of marriage, countless nights where I held her through her tears. Every sacrifice I made so she could chase her dreams. All of it crumbling right there in that overpriced hotel suite. Room 4A at the Grand Plaza. The place she swore was nothing more than business. My heart shattered into a million jagged pieces that I knew would never fit back together the same way. I stood there speechless, the silence in the room louder than any scream. How did we get here? How did our beautiful, perfect love story twist into this disgusting nightmare of lies and betrayal? Let me take you all the way back to the very beginning, because if you've ever been destroyed by someone you trusted with your soul, you're going to feel every single heartbeat of this story with me. And trust me, this pain is only the start. The revenge that came later, that's the part that will make you lean in closer. It all began back in college at State University. I was the quiet, focused accounting major who preferred books and numbers over parties. Taylor was the vibrant, outgoing marketing major who lit up every single room she walked into like a firework. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party in a crowded off-campus house. She was wearing this stunning red dress that hugged every curve and made her look like pure confidence. I was standing awkwardly in the corner nursing a warm beer when she walked right up to me with that infectious smile. "You look like you need saving from your own thoughts," she said with a laugh that melted something inside me instantly. We talked for hours that night about our dreams, our fears, our favorite movies, our crazy families. By the time the party ended, I knew I was already falling hard. She felt like home. We started dating almost immediately after that. 3 years of the kind of relationship people write novels about. There were picnics in the park under old oak trees where we'd feed each other strawberries and talk about our future. Late-night study sessions in the library that always ended with us making out in the stacks instead of actually studying. She was there holding my hand through every doctor visit. When my dad got sick with cancer, I was right beside her when she bombed her first big internship interview and cried for hours. We were a real team, true partners who lifted each other up no matter what life threw at us. "Jordan, you make me believe in forever," she would whisper in my ear during those quiet moments, and I believed her with every fiber of my being. Then came the proposal. I had saved up for months, working extra shifts at a campus coffee shop, skipping meals just to afford the perfect ring, a simple diamond that sparkled just like her eyes. I took her back to that same park where we had our very first date. The sun was setting in a blaze of orange and pink as I dropped to one knee on the grass. My voice shook as I looked up at her. "Taylor, you are my everything. Will you marry me and let me spend the rest of my life making you happy?" Tears streamed down her face as she threw her arms around me. "Yes. 1,000 times yes, Jordan. I can't wait to be your wife." The joy in her voice still echoes in my memory even now. Our wedding was everything we dreamed of. Small but magical on a private beach at sunset. Close family, a few best friends, the sound of gentle waves crashing in the background as the sky turned gold. When Taylor walked down the aisle in that flowing white gown, her eyes locked on mine, I felt like the luckiest man alive. She looked like an angel. During the vows, her voice was steady and full of love. "Jordan, I promise to love you, honor you, cherish you, and stand by your side through every joy and every storm. You are my forever." I said mine back with tears in my eyes, meaning every single word. The reception was filled with laughter, dancing under string lights and toasts that made everyone cheer. We honeymooned in a cozy cabin by the lake, spending days exploring trails and nights wrapped in each other's arms. It felt unbreakable. The first 5 years of our marriage were pure bliss, the kind of life you see in movies and think can't be real. We started in a tiny one-bedroom apartment filled with second-hand furniture and dreams. Then we bought our first real house together, a modest 3-bedroom with a backyard where we planted a garden on weekends. Lazy Sundays meant cuddling on the couch watching old movies, her head on my chest as I played with her hair. Weekends were for spontaneous road trips to the mountains or trying new restaurants downtown. I worked long, grueling hours as an accountant at a small firm, grinding through tax season after tax season so Taylor could chase her marketing career without ever worrying about money. "You're my rock, Jordan," she would say, kissing me deeply after a long day. "I don't know what I'd do without you. You make everything possible." Those words kept me going through every overtime shift and every missed dinner. Life felt complete. We talked about kids one day, about growing old together on a porch swing. I supported her through every promotion, every late project, celebrating with champagne and her favorite takeout. She supported me when I lost my first big client and felt like a failure. We were solid, unshakable. Or at least I thought we were. Then came the big promotion at Kamron and Associates, the prestigious marketing firm where she had been working for years. Taylor came home that night practically glowing, waving the offer letter like a trophy. "Jordan, this is it. Senior executive role with a huge salary bump. Kamron Harrington himself handpicked me." Kamron Harrington, the charismatic, wealthy CEO everyone in the industry whispered about. Tall, polished, always in designer suits with a reputation for turning companies around and charming everyone in the room. At first, I was thrilled for her. I popped a bottle of champagne right there in the kitchen. "This is going to change our lives, babe. Bigger house, nicer vacations, everything we've talked about." She hugged me tight, her body warm against mine. "We're going to have the life we always dreamed of. I love you so much for believing in me." But that was the night everything slowly started to shift, like cracks forming in a foundation you can't quite see yet. The late nights at the office became the new normal. "Big client pitch, honey. Kamron needs the whole team to stay late for brainstorming." I'd hear his deep laugh in the background when she called me at 11 p.m. to say she'd be home soon. Her phone started living face down on the table, notifications permanently on silent. If I casually asked who messaged her, she'd brush it off with a quick smile. "Just work stuff, Jordan. You're worrying over nothing." New clothes started filling her closet, expensive designer dresses and heels I knew our old budget could never touch. She'd model them for me quickly, twirling once before changing into pajamas. "Do you like it?" Kamron said the team has to look sharp for client meetings now. There was new perfume, too, something rich and floral that lingered in the house long after she left for work. And the lingerie, delicate black lace pieces I had never seen her wear for me. Our sex life, once passionate and frequent, became almost non-existent. She'd push me away gently every time I reached for her. "I'm exhausted from work, babe." Tomorrow night. Okay, tomorrow never came. Weeks turned into months of cold beds and quick goodnight kisses on the cheek. I felt the distance growing like a shadow I couldn't outrun. One rainy Thursday night, after she came home at midnight, smelling faintly of expensive cologne that definitely wasn't mine, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I sat her down on the couch, my voice cracking with worry. "Taylor, what's happening with us? You feel so far away lately. The late nights, the new clothes, the way you light up when you talk about work. Is everything okay between us?" She sighed, looking annoyed rather than concerned. "You're being paranoid again, Jordan. It's just stress. The job is demanding now. Kamron has huge expectations and I'm rising to meet them. Stop making this about something it's not." The way she said his name, Kamron, there was a softness, an excitement in her voice that made my stomach twist into knots. But I loved her. I trusted her. I told myself I was overthinking everything and let it go. More incidents piled up like warning signs I kept ignoring. The time she forgot her phone at home, and I saw a string of late-night texts from KH pop up. Short messages like "can't stop thinking about last night," and "you looked incredible in that meeting." When I asked her about it the next morning, she laughed it off. "KH is Kamron. It's just work banter, Jordan. You're reading too much into innocent stuff." Another night, I found a receipt in her coat pocket for a fancy steak dinner at a place we had never been to together. 2 glasses of wine. The date was a Friday when she told me she was working late on a solo project. "Team dinner," she explained when I showed it to her. Kamron treated everyone. Her eyes didn't quite meet mine. Then there was the lingerie incident that really stuck with me. I came home early one evening and found her in the bedroom trying on a new set, red lace that left almost nothing to the imagination. She looked stunning, but when I stepped closer to touch her, she pulled away fast. Not now, Jordan. I'm just seeing if it fits for a work thing. Don't make it weird. Work thing? The doubt was eating me alive, but every time I tried to talk about it, she turned it around on me. You don't trust me anymore? After everything we've been through? That hurts. I backed down every single time. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. Our 8th anniversary was supposed to be a fresh start. I planned everything perfectly. Romantic dinner at home, her favorite wine, candles everywhere, and those same red roses. I even took the day off to cook her favorite meal from scratch. But when I called her office that afternoon to confirm she'd be home early, her assistant sounded strangely nervous on the phone. Oh, Taylor left a couple hours ago with Mr. Kamron. They had an important off-site meeting at the Grand Plaza. Something about sealing a big deal. The Grand Plaza. Room 412. The key card in my pocket suddenly felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. That's when I knew I couldn't ignore the voice screaming in my head anymore. I drove there like a man possessed, my mind racing with every excuse she had ever given me. I parked in the underground garage, heart pounding louder than the engine. I took the elevator up to the 4th floor, the numbers lighting up one by one like a countdown to disaster. The hallway smelled of fresh flowers and wealth. I stopped outside room 41, took one deep breath, and used the key card. The door opened to hell itself. Taylor scrambling for the sheets, Kamron sitting up with that same smug smirk, the moans still echoing in my ears even though they had stopped. Jordan, please, it's not what it looks like. She cried, tears streaming now. He seduced me. I was weak. I love you, Jordan, I swear. Kamron just chuckled as he buttoned his shirt slowly. Come on, man. These things happen in the real world. She came on to me months ago. Said you were boring, predictable. Couldn't keep up with a woman like her. Those words hit harder than any punch I had ever taken. Boring, predictable. The man who had given up promotions and dreams so she could shine. I grabbed him by the collar, shoving him toward the door with strength I didn't know I had. Touch my wife again, and I will end you, Kamron. Get the hell out. He left laughing, still adjusting his tie. Taylor dropped to her knees on the carpet, begging through sobs. We can fix this. Marriage counseling. I'll quit the job tomorrow. Please, Jordan. Don't throw us away over one mistake. One mistake? The word echoed in my head like a lie I could no longer swallow. I looked at her, the woman I had vowed forever to, and felt only emptiness. Pack your bags tonight. I want a divorce. She cried for hours in the living room after we got home. I sat on the opposite couch, staring at the wall, replaying every happy memory like a cruel movie on loop. The beach wedding, the lazy Sundays, the way she used to look at me like I was her hero, all poison now. That night I sat alone in our dark living room after she finally went to the guest room. A bottle of whiskey in my hand, tears I couldn't stop rolling down my face. The house still smelled like her perfume. Our wedding photos on the mantel stared back at me like accusations. I replayed every single moment, how I gave up my dream job offer in another city so she could stay close to her family, how I paid every bill while she chased promotions, how I believed every late night was innocent. The pain was so deep it felt physical, like my chest was being crushed. Friends started calling the next day. Dude, you okay? Taylor posted something cryptic on social media. No, I wasn't okay. I called in sick to work for the first time in years. Lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks because food tasted like ash. Couldn't sleep without seeing that hotel room. Every text from her said the same thing. Please talk to me. I miss us. It was a mistake. I blocked her number, but the sadness swallowed me whole, day after day, until I thought I'd never climb out. Then one sleepless night I checked our joint bank account on my laptop. Thousands of dollars missing. Transfers labeled Kamron H. consulting fees. My blood turned from ice to fire in an instant. I dug through her old laptop that she had forgotten in the rush to move some things out. The password was still our anniversary date. How ironic. Hundreds of emails, steamy messages, hotel receipts dating back 8 months, photos of them together in compromising positions. One email stood out. Kamron, I can't wait to leave Jordan. You're the real man I deserve. He could never make me feel this way. Another, last night at the Grand Plaza was incredible. Laughing about how clueless he is makes it even hotter. They had been planning this. Laughing at me behind my back. Calling me the boring husband who pays the bills. Shock hit me like a freight train. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was calculated. She was going to leave me, take half my savings, while I kept funding her double life. I printed every single page, saved every file to a hidden drive. But I stayed quiet. I wasn't broken anymore. I was calculating. Little did they know I was about to turn their perfect little affair into the worst nightmare of their lives. I hired a private investigator the very next morning. Get me everything. Photos, videos, financial trails, the works. I told him in a low voice across the coffee shop table. He delivered in spades within weeks. More incriminating photos from public spots they thought were discreet. Videos from parking lots. Proof that Kamron used company funds for their dirty weekends. Thousands funneled through fake expense reports. I met Kamron's wife, Eleanor, at a quiet cafe on the outskirts of town one rainy afternoon. She was elegant, poised, but her eyes showed the same pain I carried. I slid the folder across the table without a word. Her hands shook as she flipped through the pages. That bastard. I suspected for months, but seeing it like this? We both sat there crying quietly over cold coffee. She became my secret ally from that moment on. We take them down together, she whispered. I contacted the best divorce lawyer in the city, a shark named Rebecca who specialized in making cheaters pay. Make it hurt. Take everything, I told her. But the real revenge needed perfect timing. I waited 3 long, agonizing months. Let Taylor think I was still the broken man she left behind. She moved in with Kamron almost immediately, posted happy couple photos everywhere, smiling on yachts, at expensive dinners, tagging each other with hearts. Mutual friends showed me the posts. It stung like salt in an open wound, but I used that pain as fuel. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One rainy evening, Taylor showed up at my door, eyes puffy, makeup smeared. Jordan, Kamron dumped me. He said I was too much drama now that you're fighting the divorce. I was wrong. I love you. I've always loved you. Please take me back. She stood there sobbing in the rain. Inside me, something cold and calculated clicked into place. I smiled softly, opening the door wider. Come in. Let's talk this through. She cried in my arms for hours that night, confessing everything while a hidden app on my phone recorded every single word in crystal clear audio. It was 8 months, Jordan. He promised me the world, promotions, trips, a life without the boring routine. I was stupid. I thought you'd never find out. I hugged her tighter. We'll figure it out, Taylor. We always do. But I was lying through my teeth the entire time. The company gala was 2 weeks away. Kamron was set to receive a huge leadership award on stage in front of the entire industry. Perfect stage for the final act. The night of the gala, the ballroom was packed with hundreds of people. Executives in tuxedos, women in glittering gowns, chandeliers sparkling overhead like 1,000 judging eyes. Taylor was on my arm again, smiling like the perfect, remorseful wife who had won me back. "Thank you for giving us another chance," she whispered, squeezing my hand. Kamron spotted us from across the room. His face turned beet red with rage as he stormed over during cocktails. "What the hell is this circus?" he hissed. I just smiled calmly. Supporting my wife? Isn't that what good husbands do? The lights dimmed for his big speech. Kamron took the stage, microphone in hand, bragging about integrity, loyalty, and family values above all else. "At Kamron and Associates, we build trust," he said, voice booming through the speakers. That's when my contact in the IT department, paid well and loyal, flipped the switch remotely. The giant screen behind Kamron changed instantly. No more slides about company success. Instead, my evidence exploded across the screen for everyone to see. Photos of them kissing passionately in parking garages, text scrolling slowly. "I hate how boring Jordan is. You make me feel alive, Kamron. Last night was incredible. Screw the husband." Then the full video of Taylor's confession on my couch played loud and clear. Kamron and I slept together for 8 months. I was going to leave Jordan for him. He promised me everything. The room gasped collectively. Phones came out everywhere, recording the chaos. Kamron froze mid-sentence, his face pale. "Turn it off. Now. This is a lie." But it kept playing. Eleanor stood up in the front row, elegant and furious. "You cheating, lying piece of shit." She hurled her glass of red wine straight into his face. It splattered across his white shirt like blood. Board members looked horrified. Investors started whispering loudly. Security rushed the stage and dragged Kamron off as he screamed curses. Taylor grabbed my arm, nails digging in deep. "Jordan, you monster. How could you do this to me?" I looked her dead in the eyes, voice steady. "How could you do it to me, Taylor? For 8 months?" Chaos erupted everywhere. People were shouting, filming, calling contacts. The scandal exploded online within minutes. News outlets picked it up by morning. CEO's shocking affair exposed at annual gala. Company funds misused for secret trysts. Investors pulled out overnight. The board fired Kamron within 48 hours. A full internal investigation launched. Eleanor filed for divorce the next day and took him for everything. Houses, cars, accounts. Taylor was blacklisted instantly. No references. No recommendations. Her family cut her off completely after seeing the video. She lost her job, her reputation, her future in one single night. The divorce proceedings were brutal for her. With all the printed evidence, the recorded confession, and the financial trails, the judge ruled heavily in my favor. I kept the house, the car, the savings, and received a substantial settlement that covered every dime she and Kamron had stolen. She walked away with nothing but a suitcase and the clothes on her back. 6 months later, I sold the old house and moved to a new city across the state. Started my own successful accounting firm with the settlement money. Business boomed because word spread about my story. Clients loved the man who refused to stay broken. I met someone real a year later. Her name is Lona, kind, loyal, no secrets, no late nights or hidden phones. We built something honest from the ground up. Life feels light again. Kamron? He's bankrupt now, working some dead-end sales job in a different state. Last I heard, he's alone, bitter and drinking too much. Taylor? She's waitressing at a cheap diner on the edge of town, living in a tiny studio apartment with leaking ceilings. She still sends texts sometimes. "I miss us, Jordan. Please forgive me." I never reply. I thought revenge would taste like anger and hate. But it feels like justice, clean, complete, and deeply satisfying. They broke me completely. But I rose stronger, wiser, and freer than I ever was before. If you've ever been betrayed like this, the kind of knife in the back that makes you question everything, you know exactly how deep that pain cuts. It feels like the end, but you can come back. You will come back. Stronger, smarter, ready to build something real. Drop your own betrayal story or revenge tale in the comments right now. What would you have done if you walked into that hotel room? Did this story hit you in the chest? Smash that like button if you felt every emotion with me. Subscribe to the channel for more raw, Netflix-style betrayal and revenge stories every single week. Real people, real pain, real comebacks. Turn on notifications so you never miss one. Your support keeps these stories alive and helps others heal. See you in the next one, where the revenge gets even sweeter and the betrayers pay an even higher price. Thank you for listening. You're not alone. 1.1's fast.